Day 1312 of logging in to DML. Today we've got lots of hatching, lots of breeding, and even more breeding to do on top of that. So first things first, a few of you were moaning at me going, Quacks, you need to hatch the Pattaya and the Envoy, you don't have them on your PC account yet. Fine. We've already hatched these dragons before, taken them into battle and everything like that, so we won't do the full shebang, but we do have the Envoy dragon, which was the rare from one of the previous Divine events. Alright, I found a spot. We're all good to go now. So, this is number 397 on our account now, so thank you, little Kim, for doing that. And then the second dragon that we have is the dragon with this beautiful, perfect little egg, which is the Pattaya Dragon. And honestly, the Pattaya Dragon may be in my top 10 favourite dragons in this game. Genuinely, the Pattaya Dragon is just super duper adorable and cute. And what else could you want from a dragon apart from adorable and cute? Let's be honest. So that marks number 398, and by hatching the Pattaya, we do also unlock the breeding token for the Nurture Dragon. So I do already have the Nurture Dragon, but of course, we do actually have to breed it if we want to actually get the dragon. So if we say okay to that, and we'll take these two out of the breeding den, you'll see that now in this section, it shows her up as a breeding token dragon. And so it says how to breed the Nurture Dragon. So you can breed the Nurture when using two dragons containing a combination of the following elements: land, wind, and water. And so, of course, there are a lot of different combinations that you can use for this. One combination, for example, could be the water plus seed dragon, something like that. So I am just going to pop in one dragon or two that actually does that. So plant and wind, or the seed, and water. Plant, wind, and water. Plant, wind, and water. And that is a 4.5 hour breeding time, which is not the breeding time for the Nurture Dragon. So we use the seed plus water dragons for our breeding. So if we want to take a look at the possible outcomes for these two, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 base, and 5 if you include the Elixir dragon being available for VIP as well. And so overall, this gives a pretty decent chance for you to breed the Nurture Dragon. Not too many outcomes. All the other guys have breeding times of 8 hours or below, which is reduced to 6.5 hours with the VIP, which is super good. And obviously, you'll be breeding the Nurture in no time. And if you were curious as to what the Nurture Dragon's breeding time was, it is 16 hours non-VIP, 12 hours 48 minutes with VIP. And so it actually has a shared breeding time with the Elixir Dragon. So if you do have VIP on and you get a 16-hour breeding time, you might be, or 12-hour 48-minute breeding time, because obviously you're going to have VIP on, well, you might not know which one it's going to be. So it could be a good thing that you're getting that breeding time, same as the Elixir. But if you wanted to use a different combination, like say the Candy plus Wind, or Melon plus Wind, something like that, then this combination is pretty much exactly the same. You know, 4 other possible outcomes, highest breeding time 8 hours, Elixir is a possible outcome. So, no matter what breeding combo you use, it's going to be around about these sorts of odds, and there's probably always going to be the chance for you to breed the Elixir. So, you know, just try any of these combos. Again, seed plus water is the easiest one and the first one that came to mind for me. And let me know how your breeding is going. And best of luck to anyone that is indeed trying to breed for the Nurture Dragon. Because the main thing about the Nurture Dragon is the fact that, like I've said before, she is one of the best dragons that you can use to breed the legendary Chevalier Dragon. We did get a Chevalier Dragon using our own Nurture Dragon, so just goes to show you that it is definitely possible. So, I don't know how many more attempts we're gonna go for the Nurture, because again, I already have it. It's like, at this point, we have the Dragon of the Month, we have the Dragon of the Week, and we have the Breeding Token Dragon. So for us, if we weren't just breeding garbage, we would have a completely free breeding den, which is pretty cool. So, now that that is done, we will do the dungeon today because, of course, the Crown Dragon is still in here and we do have a chance to potentially win a second one because we already got one of them way back when, a long time ago. Was it part of a Halloween event? Did we get it as part of the dungeon before? I don't even remember at this point. All that I know is that we got it at some point within the last 3 years and 11 months. 3 years and 11 months, and yet we only have that many login days. It just goes to show you that I really do miss out on a few days of just logging into the game entirely, or I have over time. Probably not as many as I should have, because, you know, 1,300 days of DML is a lot of time. It is a lot of time indeed. But at the same time, doesn't even feel like it's been that long, because I've gotten to the point where everything that's happened in DML from over like 2 years ago, I've almost completely forgotten that it happened. So it's almost like that part of my life never existed anyway. So we've just filled our brain with so much DML that I can't think anymore. How does that feel? And by the way, one thing to note about the dungeon right now, you know, the scenery and everything's cool, the weird pumpkins and everything, but the actual background to the dungeon is absolutely beautiful. I love the moon and the starry sky in the background. I know the starry sky is literally just like dots done in paint, but it does look pretty cool. I really do wish that there were more like seasonal themed backgrounds, because this is a reused one for Halloween. And of course, I think it probably would have had more use if this happened during Halloween. Not gonna say anything else. I want to know what these, like, red-eyed creatures are on the far left, by the way. Some sort of terrifying bats, maybe? I don't know, but they've never moved. All they do is peer. Stare. Watch us incessantly as we make a fool of ourselves. I don't know, the more you think about it, the creepier it feels. It's like watch this if you dare challenge videos that you see on YouTube every now and then. Middle chest, what do we get? 60,000 food. I probably would have preferred the 2 gems. We didn't see the Crown Dragon, and yet again, like I've said a bajillion times, the Crown Dragon, we're probably not even going to see it, but we will try regardless, because well, even if the chances are not high, and they're trying their very best to push every single person to purchase it from the shop, we will still try. So there is the Chrome bundle, like I mentioned a couple of days ago, but on top of that, there is also a bundle out at the moment for the Comet Dragon, so you can get him, you can get some VIP tickets, and you can get a habitat for £30. And the question is, do I think this bundle is worth it for someone to buy? The VIP tickets are tempting, but you can get like 20 days of VIP is 199 gems, which is nowhere near £30, so you are essentially paying like £25 for the Comet Dragon. And to be honest with you, even though I absolutely adore Reptar for being my first ever legendary, and now he's been babified into his childhood form, I can't recommend this dragon. Because, again, I used to love using him. I used to want to use him all the time. The problem that he has is he's just way too defensive. He is a lot better now since Void got buffed, but I don't know. I guess the only situation in which I could recommend this dragon, the Comet, is in a team where you have like a Narwhal. Because say a Narwhal plus Reptar plus maybe something like a Freya, Hathor, or a Loki dragon, that would be pretty sick. Because you could just start off the fight by using wind from Reptar, then you can like use the shadow or plant from your next dragon, and then you can heal up with a Narwhal. It's just, there are better dragons out there than what the Cosmos Dragon really does in most scenarios, but as is always the case, every single legendary can have a place in a team if you just put it into the correct team. For example, even though the laser dragon has such low health, if you had a team that was based around being the most aggressive thing in the world, and the health of your dragons didn't matter, you can put this guy in. If you want a team that is super, super duper defensive and gimmicky, something like the Deco Dragon actually isn't even all that bad. So, I always get people messaging me saying, Quacks, what should I use as my final team member? Or what should I use on my team? And I'll always say the same thing. It is up to you. It is not up to me. We can talk about what's the most optimal picks, air quotes, but I think if you just use what's most optimal in a game like DML, where everything gets replaced, everything gets changed, everything is just getting thrown out of the whack all the time, I think the best course of action really is just to, you know, pick the best dragons that you possibly can for you at the time, but also pick the dragons that you like along with that. Because, like, Andy, I think, has done absolutely insane work for us since we managed to get him. I can't think of a different dragon that was available at the time that would have done what he did better than Andy did. It's just, obviously, with stuff like Loki, Seth's, and Freya's coming out now, Andy's looking worse and worse. But one thing that Andy will never ever fail to do is, you know, he will still do very, very good damage. We can still do the map with him, we can still do arena fights with him, although it may still be difficult against certain dragons. Cough cough, Hathor, Freya. But because of what Andy's done, and the nostalgia that we have, and the, you know, the connection that we've built, I do think that that is a lot more important than replacing him for some, you know, new Loki dragon, just because he's hip and fancy and new and a little bit better. Oh well. I did say this in a video before as well, and people were like, no, you need to replace Andy with Loki. I don't think I do at this point. I think the difference in attack and health is not negligible, but definitely not worth it for the stage that we're at. And plus, I felt really sad having to get rid of our Comet Dragon all those years back, because I leveled him up, I tried to use him, I stuck by him, but the fights were just getting too difficult. And boss fights that easily could have been completed if we just had a really high plant damage dragon, we just couldn't do them because Reptar just didn't have the damage there. He was okay for, you know, weakening their attacks with wind and stalling, but weakening attacks and stalling doesn't work unless you have a proper team made around it. So, I always say it, but I'm just reiterating again. Plan your teams correctly, and you can use whatever dragons you want. Barring anything below Epic. Because even Epics can work, although they're definitely not the optimal pick. But they can work. Anything below that will just be too much of a struggle, to be honest. Like, if you want to use commons and rares in your final endgame team, you're a madman. Or mad woman, or mad thing, whatever you are. If you identify as a dolphin, you're a mad dolphin. Do whatever you want, but the point is, just do what makes you happy in DML. I mean, it is a casual game to begin with, and no matter how much advice I can give to people, we do have to really consider the fact that all the dragons are going to be constantly changing now, so using what you like is a little bit more important now. Because if you don't just want to replace your dragons every few months, that's the best thing that you can do. We got a few legendary mats there. I noticed that. Thank you, game. Speaking of which, can we do anything with Joko yet? Not yet. We've got a few trinkets, which will go in about 4 seconds. There we go. They're all gone now. But Joko is on the verge of getting his next enchantment star to buff him up to 6 enchantment stars, in which case he will end up being stronger than Andy. It's gonna be a strange world when that begins to happen. A strange world that my brain will not process, and I will still end up putting Andy in instead of Joko and making myself look like an idiot. I can see it happening already. But anyway, guys, if you are trying to breed that nurture dragon, very best of luck. It's only available for another week, so I hope everyone can get it that needs it. If you're still breeding the Chevalier because you want to take part in the Night Fight event, also best of luck with that. I do want everyone to try their best in the Night Fight, and we'll see if the bug hits you. But until next time, I'll see you then.